Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. Before I get into today's episode, just want to thank everybody for supporting the channel. If you guys are interested in learning more about the Miami Heat and more NBA news, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot. So, the Phoenix Suns right now seem to be running out of options because no team seems to be interested in wanting to acquire Bradley Beal in a trade. Chris Haynes came out and said the Bucks have not talked about acquiring Bradley Beal. They don't want to acquire Bradley Beal. And then a day later, I think it was The Athletic or something else. I don't even remember. It could have been Jake Fisher or someone basically said that the Bucks are looking to add a star. So are the Bulls or whoever. The Suns, of course. Obviously, that's evident. They want Jimmy Butler. But then they said the Bucks are looking to add a player like Zach LaVine, like Bradley Beal, or someone else. So there's conflicting reports all around, and I don't know what's happening. But right now, I know the Suns are running out of options in terms of teams that would be willing to take on Bradley Beal's horrendous contract. Bradley Beal is injury prone, and he's not the same star player that he used to be, and he's the fifth highest paid player in the NBA today, and he doesn't play like he's a top 5 player, not even close, not even a top 35 player at this point. And he's not fitting well with the Suns. He's been benched. I think the Suns have been doing a little bit better since he's been benched, and that's a telltale sign that he's not a fit on that team because Devin Booker is obviously the cornerstone of that franchise and was before the best player on the Suns until Kevin Durant got there. And so they're looking to extend Kevin Durant. They're looking to trade you Bradley Beal, but he has all the cards also. So not only do we have to find a team that's willing to take him on, as we all know, but then he has to waive his no trade clause to go to that team. So anyway, there's a guy, his name is, I don't know what his full name is, but he goes by Gambo. He's a Suns broadcaster, radio guy who has a lot of inside information with the team, has a lot of sources. He basically said the Suns are running out of options, and I know there's been hypothetical trade suggestions where the Miami Heat would receive all 3 first-round picks in Bradley Beal for Jimmy Butler. So the incentive would be instead of that 1 pick, they turn them into 3, give all 3 in Bradley Beal to the Heat. The Heat do not want Bradley Beal. So I think they're coming to the conclusion that there's no real path right now, and we need to find one because Jimmy Butler's suspension ends tonight. They're playing the Nets in an hour, and Monday there's a game against the Orlando Magic, and Jimmy Butler will be back, and that's going to be another awkward vibe after 7 games missed. He came back, didn't look like he was trying wholeheartedly. He was trying, but not actually trying. So he's quiet quitting on the team, or actually loudly quitting on the team. But anyway, it's going to be really weird if Jimmy Butler comes back again after a second suspension. It's not sustainable. So let's take a look at what they were saying on the radio show, Gambo, the guy from the Suns, in terms of the Jimmy Butler trade scenario.
Oh, that expiration. I believe that. I believe that Butler is kind of holding up the market a little bit because some of these teams are like, hey, I can get involved in the Butler deal and get a first-round pick back for not really doing very much. I don't want to do anything else and jeopardize that.
Sure.
Why would I jeopardize that? Make this small move when I might be able to get a first-round pick back for helping facilitate a trade. So I do think that in some ways, because any Butler deal, if it did happen, and I think you're really running out of options here. I really do. If Chris Haynes is right about Milwaukee not wanting him and Miami doesn't want him, and then, if you can't do anything with Chicago, I don't know if I see a path. There might be one, but it's definitely it would be an unknown one. It would be one that nobody really knows about, coming out of nowhere, out of left field to emerge. And again, something that for 6 weeks, it would be a team that nobody has discussed.
Yeah, there are still, we're all trying to kind of figure out what's the expiration date on this, right? When does the milk go bad in the fridge? And we spoke yesterday, and you mentioned it a second ago about, if Miami's out and Milwaukee's out, we don't know about Chicago. We have no idea. But at some point, from a Sun standpoint, there just might not be anywhere to send Bradley Beal to. And if that's the case, that might eliminate Phoenix from all this. Now, the wrinkle we got yesterday was the reporting from Mark Spears in which he said, look, I'm here now. Jimmy Butler will go anywhere but Memphis. I mean, he wants out. He doesn't want to be in Miami anymore. He wants to get out of there. So maybe at some point, the Suns' expiration date comes and they go, okay, you know what? Forget it. We're out of the Jimmy Butler thing because we can't move Bradley Beal. Nobody wants it. But the Jimmy Butler and where he might go, that expiration date might last a little longer. If there are 28 teams that he's willing to go to that aren't named the Phoenix Suns or the Memphis Grizzlies, but I get it.
All right, so there might be an expiration date for the Miami Heat as well if the Suns are out of the race. That's going to be unfortunate because that's the only team he really wants to go to. The only team that, would be willing to give up obviously some decent stuff to acquire him, because otherwise, what teams are going to take Jimmy Butler on as a rental, knowing that he's not going to re-sign with those teams? The Heat are stingy and they're not going to get any player on an expiring contract, draft capital, young up-and-coming players. Like, they're going to get lowballed. But Jimmy Butler did come out and say, made a video a couple days ago or yesterday, that he'll go anywhere besides the Memphis Grizzlies at this point. So if the Miami Heat want to play the game of get rid of him now, he's a cancer, then you take back a weaker offer because Jimmy Butler is going to be a rental. And it is what it is right now. So unless you get the Suns involved, then you could perhaps get a better package because you get pick from the Suns plus a few players like a Bruce Brown, a Kelly Olynyk, whoever it may be from the Raptors or someone from the Pistons or whoever, even from the Bulls, getting Lonzo Ball to this team. Like, there's different options if the Suns are involved. If they're not involved, you get a lower package, and the Miami Heat might have to deal with that, or we just keep him on this team and keep trying to suspend him unless Mickey finally just pays him to sit at home, which I don't think they want to do. So it's a sticky situation. If that's the case, you send him home, you bite that bullet, and then you get cap space when you trade him, or if he doesn't opt in, or if he does opt in, you do some sort of sign and trade. But it is going to be a crazy headache, and it has been a headache, and we'll see. There's no end in sight. We'll see what happens after tonight when Jimmy Butler, is going to be reinstated from his suspension, his second suspension in a row. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the hell happens on Monday. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all the support. Thank you.